Hey everyone, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. This is a bit of a reactionary video. There's been an interesting thread in one of my Facebook groups, which is actually a really good learning point. So I thought I'd basically reiterate my stance around this topic. And for the paranoid people out there, don't worry. Nearly all the time you see me driving and making a video, I'm not actually driving, the car is driving, and I have the reactions of an Asian. Okay, so on this Facebook group, I completely forgot the original topic of this thread, etc. But it got into a bit of a heated, not even heated, it got into a bit of a let's agree to disagree type thing. And it was basically me and this other person disagreeing on wealth accumulation, I guess. And so this whole video is simply my stance on wealth generation. And so there's no right or wrong. He wasn't wrong or correct. I'm not wrong or correct. I'm sure there's better words to rephrase that. This is just how I feel, and this is how I am attacking life. That's it. It's just me with my own Siam opinion hat on. So when it comes to wealth generation, I believe, this is just, again, everything is what I believe. I believe you have two phases of your life. You have your, what I believe, I'll stop saying that.
I can't believe you've done this.
Your aggressive wealth accumulation phase of your life and your capital preservation phase of your life. And this is where age is completely irrelevant. If you're 70 years old and you haven't hit financial independence, you are still, or you should be, in your wealth accumulation phase of your life. I don't care how old you are. I mean, there's so many famous brands, household brands out there, which, you know, are started by founders in their 70s or late 60s. So, and plus, we're going to be living well above the age of 100. So, if you're 70, you still got a hell of a long time to live. Whatever financial independence for you is, that's completely your call. Whether it's 3 grand a month, 5 grand a month, or 50 grand a month, it's your call. Obviously, if you have less, sort of a lesser taste for the finer things in life, and you know, 3 grand a month is, you know, is way more than you need, absolutely great. If you have the curse, which I have, where you like fancy things and the nice things in life, or the ability to do whatever you want, then obviously that target is going to be a lot higher for you. And so the thing is, I'm a gamer. I become obsessed with everything I do, or I'm obsessed with anything I want to nail. And as a gamer, I think most gamers share that trait because we tend to binge. I binge whatever game I want to win, and I want to win at the game of life. For me, it's a game. Money is just the score. It really is. It's a bit cliche, but it's just the score of the game of life. And finance is just one metric of life which I want to sort of nail. And as a gamer, it's all about conservation of energy, efficiency. You know, what is the fastest route to the cash, or what is the fastest route to, you know, the exit, or you know, the magic star, or whatever. And so for me, I've analysed this whole the whole world of investing and money generation, etc. And the conventional norms which everyone's been taught and indoctrinated, etc., are actually the most inefficient ways of hitting your financial targets, whatever that may be. And so, for example, I have a very contrarian view when it comes to funds and property. I'm going to piss off a lot of people here. Hell, one of my mentors is a property magnate. Magnate? I guess he is a bit of a magnet. He just attracts property. So, for example, my opinion on funds, whether it will be Fundsmith or anything where you you're parking your capital and you're basically fire and forgetting, is, I think, an inefficient use of your capital. Because even if you're in the world's best fund, and it's, you know, no risk, zero drawdown, whatever, and it makes you 7% per year or 10% per year, well, how long is that going to take for you to become rich or hit your financial independence target? It's going to take freaking forever, especially if you're starting off with $1 grand, $2 grand, hell, even 10 grand. 10 grand at 10% per year for 10 years is not going to change your life. You'll be just over, what, with compounding interest over, I don't know, 125k. So like, it's not going to move the needle. And even if you wanted to retire on that 125 grand for the next 30 years, like, again, that's below the poverty line. Basically, you should only put your money, your capital in a fund when you're in your capital preservation period of your life. I mean, if you've got a couple of million to bung in a fire and forget fund, great. Your 7 or 5 or 10% is going to be quite fun. You know, 10% on a million is 100 grand a year. After taxes, you'll probably be left with 6 or 7 grand a month. That's quite nice. Not on 10 grand though. Again, property. Yeah, you're like residential or commercial, you're going to be hard pressed to come across a property which chucks you out 10% per year or 20% per year. And if you are doing property where it is making you more than 20% per year, you're not actually in the game of property. You're in the game of business, not property. And business is a different kettle of fish altogether. So yeah, again, property is, I believe, a capital preservation play. Yeah, personally I prefer land than property, and the thing is, if you're in property to get cash flow, you're in business, you're not in property. You're just using these properties, residential, commercial, whatever, as your product, the thing that you're selling or the thing that you're deriving cash flow of. And so personally, when I'm looking at this, you know, the most streamlined way of sort of getting to where I want to go, like, parking your capital is the dumbest thing you can do. Again, this is if you are obsessive and you're really gunning to hit your financial goals. So for me, I strongly believe anyone, literally anyone, can hit their financial targets within 10 years. Absolute max. I've learned this from experience. I wasted the first 3 or 4 years in business, spinning my wheels in the mud, doing every freaking business opportunity possible, getting nowhere. And I even failed my first 3 to 5 businesses, or I had loads of projects, loads of little things. I failed my first 3 proper businesses, and God, I know, the first 5 or 10 projects, whatever they meant. And you know, some projects never even start off, do they? I mean, there are things on the internet, and hell, I've got thewap.org, and that's going to accelerate you through the first 4 years of shit I had to go through. Let's say you were equally as bad as learning from your mistakes or from other people's mistakes as I was, and you wasted the first 3, 4, let's say you wasted the first 3 years getting nowhere in business. You wasted the first 3 years, and then you got 7 years before you hit that 10-year play, you know, end of target. Well, even if you think small, you're still going to hit your target. Let's just say you wanted to take home 5 grand a month. Now, for a lot of people, taking home clear 5 grand a month is like an amazing target to hit. And yeah, and most people, I would say over 90% of the population would easily be financially independent if they're taking home 5 grand a month. Well, I've just put some figures here. If you basically had a product or where you were making 30 quid, yeah, let's just call it turnover, 30 quid turnover or 30 pounds revenue per month. So let's say it's a subscription or a service type business. All you needed to get are 6 customers per month, every month for 7 years, and then your business would have roughly 15 grand a month residual income or residual revenue stream. Obviously there's profit margins, etc. But I mean, that's just 6 per month. And when it's a £30 a month, you know, price point, it's a lot easier than selling a £1,000 price point product. And if you wanted to take out 5 grand a month from your 15 grand a month revenue business, that's very easily doable. I mean, obviously you can play around with figures, and I would urge you to get comfortable playing around with your calculator. It's the most used app on my phone, actually. So yeah, that's that. And so really the key to aggressive wealth accumulation is not trading, it's not cryptos, it's not general boring investing. It's business. It's setting up, running, growing, and maybe selling a business. And so that's where I come from. Now, yes, I agree. I do agree. There are some valid points on this thread. I do agree. Setting up and running a business isn't for everyone. Some people just aren't suited. Hell, I'm not suited for running a business. I'm way too impatient. I'm like a 4-year-old ADHD goldfish. I love anything that shines. Shines? Shiny. Guess like I'm a magpie as well. Anyway, I'm not the world's best trader, like physiologically or mentally speaking, or the best business owner. But I've made it work. And the thing is, I guess it just comes down to it. you know, there is a question. Would you like to become financially independent? Most people say yes. Okay, are you prepared to bust a gut, invest in your brain, knowledge, skills? Because this is a learnable skill which you can implement. So the thing is, are you prepared to invest your blood, sweat, tears, talent and time in getting to your target? And most people aren't. Most people are comfy. They're too comfortable being comfortable. So I guess here's my caveat, or not caveat, so adding on to my stance, anyone can do it as long as you actually want to do it, or if you need to do it. Whereas most people, they're happy just having a job, getting their lot, accepting that they can have, you know, a handful of holidays a year and whatever. And if that is you, if you are in the comfort part, great, there's no right or wrong answer. Hell, if you're really, really happy and you're doing what you do, whatever you're earning, then you've already won at the game of life. Happiness is the key here. So, but for me, I've got some targets I've got to hit. They're stupid, silly targets, which will probably take me 50 years to hit, but I'm gonna do it. So for me, I have to be anally obsessive about aggressive wealth accumulation. And for me, the only way to do that is grow and run businesses. And the thing is, because business, you get the craziest amount of profit in the shortest time frame if you know what you're doing. And it may take you a few businesses to get good at it. Again, don't worry about failing. As long as you never screw people over, then you're never going to go wrong. And that's one thing. I've never screwed anyone over. I've been screwed over loads. I've never screwed anyone over. You don't need to be a dick to get ahead in business. You can be a nice guy and still win. You may be walked over a bit though. Yeah, and by the way, contracts don't help you. That's another thing. If you have a contract in place, you need to be prepared to spend at least 50 grand to enforce a contract. Anyway, that's another learning tool. But here's a little caveat. Here's a nice little caveat that I've found which accelerates your growth. Because all I've done is I've set up businesses, I've got cash flow from the businesses, the surplus cash flow I put into my investments, and then I grow the investments using my trading and investing. So I've actually made way more money in my trading, because my trading and my investing is like an amplification of whatever I have. So I've made way more money in that. However, I couldn't have done that if I didn't have something continually supplying my trading funnel, my trading accounts, etc. And so by having a business or businesses which give you a regular guaranteed income, or as guaranteed as business can be, what that gives you is the ability to swing. And that is key. I look at everything in R multiples. As you all know, I mean, I'm just going over the same stuff I'm always talking about. So I apologize if you're all bored of me by now. But the thing is, I look at everything in R multiples. And if I see a 10, 20, 50 or 1,000 R trade, I'll take it. I don't care what it is. And you only need to connect once in your whole life for you to be set up for your whole life. I've hit twice so far, and I'm gonna hit many more times. I swing and miss way more than I connect, but you just need to be able to swing at things, knowing that, let's say, like for example, if I had a 50 quid, yeah, even a 50, if I had a 50 grand swing at, or punt at something, and I miss, yeah, it's gonna hurt. Yes, it'll push me back a couple of months or whatever, but if I connect, I would have made 100 or 300 years worth of profit. And the only way that I can swing all of the time is because I've got the cash flow always coming in. So yeah, that's again, that point is for those that think I'm just a degenerate, reckless gambler. I'm not. Everything's calculated. I don't do anything which is uncalculated, because that way you're gambling. An uncalculated risk or an action is a gamble. I'm not a gambler. I'm a trader, and all proper traders are very acutely aware, well, no, chronically aware that there's a very fine line between trading and gambling. So yeah, that's me. And oh, one last thing, if you haven't already been there, I would highly recommend to go to www.thewap.org. Hopefully Matty has put it somewhere around here, I don't know. Hello. And basically what I've done is that I've created a whole series of videos, and I'm basically trying to download everything I have in my head into animated videos, so that for two reasons. One, if anything happens to me, and my children can learn everything I know, and so that they can learn the skills, the knowledge, and then implement, you know, what I know for themselves. And also, being successful at business is not a talent. It really isn't. It's a learnable thing, just like anyone can learn to crochet. I don't know. And yeah, and the thing is, I'm making this so it's good enough for my kids to learn, and if it's good enough for my kids to learn, it's good enough for anyone to learn, because yeah, my kids mean the world to me. So yeah, go to thewap.org, and I mean, there's 10 days worth of free videos, etc. Just crack on to them, and yeah, it's all about aggressive wealth accumulation.